Hello my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverly and it's so lovely to see you today. In this video we are going to be doing a witchy book review, so grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. So the first thing that I need to say is that this is not sponsored at all. This review is all my own thoughts and feelings. I bought this book with my own money. The author, the publishers, they don't know I exist. I just love sharing what I'm reading. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, you know what to do. I'm really excited today because I'm really getting back into reading. I'm reading like 2 or 3 books a month. And it feels really good to be just curled up on the sofa with my doggy next to me, a blanket over me, just hibernating like the bear that I am. Just hibernating up, because I just love that kind of winter magic that can come from just being safe at home and feeling protected and reading a good book. That's what my life's all about. From now on, just reading. That's it. But yeah, I really am excited to get to it. But don't forget, if you're new here, you can click the subscribe button to become part of the butterfly family. You're more than welcome to come in and stick around for a while. We would absolutely love to have you here. Don't forget while you're at it to head down below, leave this video a cheeky little like and a comment. It all helps my video to get shared out more in the YouTubeverse, so more people get to see it and my channel can grow. So all of the people who've done that so far, thank you very much. But as always, the best way to help me out here on the channel is to head over to the links down below for Ko-fi, where you can leave me a little tip, a little something to say thank you for a video or to just help out with buying more books, that sort of thing. If you enjoy my channel, everything is greatly appreciated and goes straight back into the run of the channel. But if you'd like to leave me something a bit more regularly, you're more than welcome to join us over at the Butterfly Family on Patreon. We have loads of extras there for just £2 a month, so feel free to head over there. No pressure or anything, but it does help me with my book addiction, so there is that. But my darlings, let's get to the review. So the first thing is, all my notes are in my new book. I bought this a few weeks ago now. It's a book review logbook. It's by Jennifer Gilmore. I'll leave a link to it down below. Not sponsored or anything, I just thought it would be really nice to have somewhere to write my book reviews, and I've got like a little quote that I'm going to save for each of the books. So that's where we're going to be reading our notes from. So I've already filled in the page for this book. So let's get to it, shall we? This is the book. It is Ancestral Whispers, a guide to building ancestral veneration practices by the author Ben Stimpson. I will, as always, leave a link to their website, social medias, whatever I can find for the author. It's always best to go and check out the authors. I think this is by Llewellyn. Yes, it is. It's a Llewellyn publishing book. So if you would like to purchase it for yourself, you can head over there. And as always, there are 101 million bookmarks in here because I was underlining and saving so many pieces of this book. It just shows it's a good book. So first thing I want to share is my favourite quote from the whole book. I think this is a really nice way to see what kind of book that we're dealing with. When you're just sitting there thinking about your ancestors and not actually doing anything, will they know what you are thinking? Maybe, on some cosmic level, they might. But just like with living humans, expressing love is more valued than just thinking about it. To me, this quote really hit me full in the face, because so often it's easy to fall into being an armchair witch and just reading books and watching YouTube videos and not doing the work, not actually doing any magic. And it's something that I fall into from time to time, especially when my chronic illnesses are flaring up, my disabilities are bad. You know, I can have weeks and weeks where I'm just really struggling with my depression, mental health isn't great, and it's easy to fall into this pattern of not actually doing anything. You're just sitting there reading. This quote though really spoke to me because, like, for example, I was so close to my grandparents. Like, they were my best friends and they got me through my childhood. I didn't have an easy childhood, I'll be honest. They really got me through. Their love and their guidance just really got me through so much. But imagine if I'd never gone to visit them. Imagine if I'd never called them and never been to make sure they were okay. Then I'm never going to have had that beautiful, special relationship that I managed to have with them. I would never have been as close to them as I was if I'd never gone to visit them, if I'd never done anything. And that's what I'm finding with my other grandparents over on my mum's side. I rarely saw them when I was a child, and so I'm always a bit uncomfortable and awkward around them. I don't know how to be me when I'm with them, and it makes me so sad because they're such amazing people. Like my grandmother, she was born very, very hard of hearing and struggled a lot at school because she couldn't hear what the teachers were saying, and she managed to bring up 9 children, and she's got grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and she's an amazing woman. I really look up to her, but I'm not as close to her because I don't have that relationship. And ancestor work is the same. You can sit and read a book after book after book about ancestor veneration, but if you're not going to your altar, if you're not meditating with them, if you're not leaving offerings, if you're not writing things down, memories that come into your mind or things that come to you, then you are never ever going to build that relationship with them, and you're never going to get back half of what you could have. So that really spoke to me. I really love that quote, and that basically is what made me love this book. It's a really, really good book. Of course, it's not a perfect book, in my mind anyway. The author is an incredible writer, but I have down here at times it's hard to read because they're very academic. I can tell that this person is very academic and has probably got degrees and doctorates and things. I don't know much about the author himself. I think it's a him. Do they say? He, they, them. Almost. I'm trying to get better with pronouns, guys. I'm old. The writing is very difficult sometimes for me to really get into. To me, ancestor practice is very cozy. It's this feeling of being surrounded with my ancestors, with my family, with my blood, with the people who chose to meet and marry other people and create a line of people to make me this crazy, unique, strange person. And to me, if I'm writing about ancestor work, it's going to be cozy and grounded in family. But this felt very not personalised enough. It felt not personalised enough. They do share a lot of some of their own personal stories with ancestor veneration. Of course they do. Of course they share some personal details about their family line. However, other than those stories, the writing makes it feel very much like a textbook. It's all down to what you prefer and what you've read. I don't have a degree. I have a diploma in nursing, so I basically looked after people. So because of that, I'm not very academic. But that's just my personal view. If you like academic books or you have degrees and things, then you'll probably prefer this style of writing. It's just a preference, that's all. What I did absolutely chuffing love about this book was all the wonderful religions and cultures that were discussed. There was so many little tokens and little nuggets from lots of different religions and faiths and countries, and I just love that. I'm an omnist. Being an omnist basically means that I don't believe in organised religion. I believe that all the religions have a little bit of truth to them, but no one religion has all the truth. And often when you look into lots of different religions, you find similarities And those similarities are what I try to bring into my practice and what other omnists try to do as well. For example, meditation, smoke cleansing, that sort of thing. You see it in several different cultures. Therefore, it must have something in it that's truth. That's my belief. That's what I follow. Not telling you, not preaching you, just telling you that I loved that all these little nuggets were in there, and I learned so much. Like, there are some faiths that you can't take dirt and stone away from the site. Some countries that you can't do that as well. There are so many little bits, and this person, they are English American from what I could gather, and I think they grew up in Canada, but I could be wrong. But they're very like universal in their language, very universal in their thinking, and I absolutely, chef's kiss, love that. If you've been watching my book reviews for a while, you'll know quite often I'll be like, this is so American, this book is just based in American, this is just American. It's because a lot of Americans think that their country is the centre of the world, and they forget there's a whole load of other countries and cultures and religions out there. And so this having a little bit of everything, just loved it so much. Highly loved that. One thing that I talk about a lot here on the channel is disability awareness, and a lot of books can be heavy and difficult to hold for those of us who have hand issues. I get a lot of hand pain. I also don't have a lot of feeling in my hands. So this book, which is so, look at that, it's so soft and floppy, and the pages are so, like, you don't even have to hold it. Like, I'm not clutching it to hold the page open, it just kind of sits there. It was so easy to read because of that. This, genius. Whoever came up with this idea of making it more floppity, love that. Absolutely love it so much. It means that more of us can get the physical book. Because when we have heavy or difficult to open, difficult to read books, it means then we've got to go to Kindle. And I love reading on Kindle. If I didn't read on Kindle, I would have a house full of books. So I do have a lot of Kindle books, but I get a lot more out of a book if I can physically hold it. So when this sort of thought is put into it, oh, thank you. Thank you. One thing that I really love in books is when they give you practical things to do. Not always spells. A lot of people will share like full-on spells. I don't like copying other people's spells. That's just my own personal view. I think spells are more powerful when they come from you, when they're your words, when they're your ingredients, etc. added to it. However, what I really enjoyed was the practicality of this book. There were so many things that I felt like, oh yeah, I can add that into my practice easy. I can start tomorrow. None of the things that they spoke about in this book were things like, do you remember we did an Ancestral book not too long back? If I can remember, I'll put a picture up here of the book. And it was like 15 chapters, and for every chapter you had to buy a new thing. You had to have a pendulum and a tarot deck and this and that. And by the time you'd finished just doing the book would have cost a fortune. And not everybody has access to those things. Like, a lot of people might be reading this book and getting it from the library and not have money to buy extras. And so it's lovely to read a book that is not expecting you to buy anything. There's a lot of pressure the minute you start stepping into a spiritual space to buy stuff. There's so much pressure to buy things. You don't actually need anything to practice witchcraft. You can do it all with your energy and the power of your mind. Tools just simply give you a focus and something to work on. But the magic comes from you, not the spell, if that makes sense. There's a lot of books that talk about that, but I love that this is like, all you need is a little space to make a little place for your ancestors to cozy up in, and there you go, have at it. And a lot of it was just really lovely things that I just really felt called to doing. Another thing that I really liked was journal prompts and questions to answer at the end of every chapter, or sometimes towards the end of the chapter they would have an extra one and some extra ones in the middle, just little extra things. Now, if you are a journaler, which I would love to be a journaler, but I end up journaling like twice and then never touch the journal again. I'm one of those people. But I wish I could be a journaler, because I wish I could answer these questions written down. Instead, they were just things that I thought about in the moment, but it still really prompted me to do a little bit more and to concentrate a little bit more, and I found that incredibly useful. And a really important thing, which goes along with me saying that this person is probably someone who, sorry, I'm trying to find the page, someone who is quite academic, because at the back we have resources and further reading section, and we also have a bibliography, so you can find so much information, and it's not just white centric either. It's like queer centric specific resources. They have BIPOC, which I think BIPOC is something persons of colour. I can never remember what the bi at the front is, but they have a lot of resources in here for people of all cultures and religions, and I really, really love that. All in all, it's just a really English, Beverly. All in all, it's just a really well-rounded book. I got so much out of this book, and I read a lot of ancestral books, as you all know. Ancestor work is a big part of my practice and something that I absolutely love. And this book just, I really feel like, gave me something extra. There have been some books that I have bought recently that have given me nothing, like no extra information. They've kind of been like beginner friendly, and I think, you know, it's wonderful to have beginner friendly books. Of course it is, but I want to dive deeper sometimes, and it's hard to find that deeper water. Now, this is a good book for beginners, so if you are a beginner to ancestor veneration, have at it. It's a really good book, and it won't steer you wrong, and you'll be well on your way to having a wonderful relationship with your ancestors. But it also gave me some depth. There was more to it than just surface level stuff that I have found recently in ancestor veneration books, and I think the reason why is capitalism. I know that sounds crazy, but as we in the West are starting to say, you know what, I miss connecting with my ancestors. We haven't done it for so long, and so many other cultures do it, and I want to do it. And because we're starting to wake up to this practice that would have been so part of our lives back in the past, our ancestors would have been from the same village, that we would have lived close to one another, we would have buried them in the local church, and we would have often gone and connected with them. It's just the way it always would have been. And then we've had this big span of time in the West where we kind of been afraid, or taught to be afraid of death. And then we've all kind of gone, well, no, actually, I kind of want to do that. It looks really fulfilling, and it is. So, yeah, I just think it's so important when you're thinking about accessing veneration for your ancestors to think about and really research the books that you're going to buy, because, yeah, when there's an upsurge in something, there tends to be a lot of suddenly items for sale, and books are a big part of that. And there have been people who've made books that I think have literally been practicing ancestor veneration for like a month, and they've written a book and it's been published because they're so desperate to get more ancestor books out for us to buy and keep the old cogs turning. I don't like that, but I'm just obsessed with working with my ancestors, and because of that I tend to buy them. But this is not one of those books. This is an extremely good book. This is so good, and the author practices what he preaches. He does, except he. I'm learning. Yeah, go and check out the links down below if you would like to buy this book. You'll be able to find it in all your booky places. But don't forget also, you can get books from your library. Let's keep the libraries going, guys. We don't have to buy everything. We can get it from the library. So you might be thinking to yourself, but what's next? We finished that book. What's next? The next book is Herbal Magic. This is The Green Witch's Guide to Herbal Magic, a handbook of green hearthcraft and plant-based spellcraft by Annabelle Margaret. Annabelle Margaret is a YouTuber. They're a YouTuber, so I will leave a link down below to all their places that you can follow them. Their YouTube channel is so lovely. It's all about slow living, spell work, foraging. It's just cottage life. If you liked cottagecore, go and give her a follow and a subscribe. So this is the book we're going to be reading next, and I will leave links to everywhere that you can follow Annabelle down below. But yeah, if you want to read along with me, this is the next book that we will be reviewing. That's the word, reviewing. Beverly? So it's time for a quick shout out and a huge, big, brightly coloured, huge thank you to my Patreons. We have Ravin, Kirsty Nelms, Margaret Finlay, Sarah O'Donoghue and Lindsay Winstanley. They are all incredible, incredible, lovely humans that really kept me going on this channel. There have been times when I've really wanted to give up on this channel, and having people believe in me enough to go over somewhere and hit that I'll give you £2 a month button just fills my little heart and keeps me going. So yeah, go and check out my Patreon if you would like to get to know those people, as we do have chats in the Patreon app as well as on Discord just for patrons. They're safe spaces for anybody. I would never steer you wrong. But yeah, come and join the family over there as well. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to head down below and leave it a cheeky little like and a comment. I love to chat with you all, and I'd love to know what you've been reading. And have you read the Ancestral Whispers book or the Herbal Magic book? Let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. I am a poet. I didn't know it. If you'd like to stay around for this madness that is my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm usually here on Fridays, but sometimes on a Monday. I always try and be here with you at least once every week. Take care everyone, have a wonderful magical week, and I will see you in the next video, which is going to be a sewing video. Bye!